Good morning, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham D. This is the man that we call Bibby, and I don't have a sweet in my mouth that I can spit all over the microphone today. If you don't know what that means, then check out the tweets that we put out yesterday, because Bibby nicely clipped it and shared it. But I had a what do you call it? Like a Vicks vapor sweet in my mouth because a bit bunged up. It's be Christmas and all that and winter and stuff. And anyway, I was like showing off that I had a sweet in my mouth. Spat it straight onto the brand new microphone. So yes, that's not happening today though. Nice. How are we all doing today? Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Nobody said anything about the audio, so I'm not even going to check it. I'm just going to assume it's fine. Hopefully we're all good. But anyway, welcome in. As mentioned, I am Graham. This is Bib, and we are Ice Cream Uploads. And in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. Anyway, we're going to give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions too. You can share those live with us each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. I said 10 a.m. What I really mean is 10 a.m. ish. 10 a.m. ish. It's actually 2 minutes past 11. So there you go. We go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday. Obviously, the ish is related to the fact that we do this on the side. We work for Jelly Media, but our channel is Ice Cream Uploads. Jelly and ice cream. You can see how it works. But the jelly stuff comes first. The ice cream stuff follows that. We do that around the work stuff, which is why it's 10 a.m. ish. And that's also why it means so much when you guys support us with subs, donations, bits, and all of that jazz. Even just being here lurking in the stream with us live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish means a lot because it's our side gig. So it's nice. It's nice to see a little bit of support from you guys when you do that. So thank you very much. Speaking of being with us, even just lurking in the chat, it's important that if you are lurking in the chat, feel free to lurk, do as much as you want. But if you can, use your voice because we turn this live stream into a podcast, a YouTube video, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you're in the chat, please feel free to use your voice on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand a little bit later on. I mentioned the microphone. First things first, !Elgato, if someone wants to type that in the chat, just as a shout to the lovely people at Elgato. They have provided us with Wave 3 microphones. That's a very nice microphone you've got there, babe. No, cheers. No, it's fine. No, whatever. I'll get it. No, fuck you. Now, shout out to Elgato. As you can see there, Mr. Garlic Clark in the chat has said, our stream setups are powered by numerous Elgato products. Green screen, stream decks, capture equipment, key lights, and mics. So shout out to Elgato for giving us... No, I haven't. You're perfectly fine. You just need to speak a little bit louder. That's all. You couldn't hear it, but basically yawned into the microphone. It's fine. It's fine. I did mention yesterday, I think it was in the afternoon stream, I may have mentioned it on the morning stream as well, that I now have hot mics. Hot mics, if you work in any sort of production industry, is basically you turn the mics on and off. I've never had that before. I had the mics turning on and off using Streamlabs, so it did it all for me, which is why I'm now back to being lazy, so I never forget to turn the audio on. So if Bibby's not on, just shout at me and I'll put it on straight away, but thank you very much. Cheers for that. Another thing to mention, we have another sword of power in the chat. Mr. Gary Clark was adminning, modding, should I say, on behalf of me, whilst we got a raid at the start of the stream yesterday, so we graced him the good power of the green sword. So thank you very much for being an honorary mod and now being an actual mod, Gary. Much appreciated, dude. And to celebrate, he gave a sub away, so we need to give Gary more things, and he gives us more money. Jobs are good. So shouting out in the chat then. First of all, Lake says, let me get a cup of coffee. 40,000 sprinkles and counting. Mr. Martin Butterworth, I'll read, says 424... No K. Sprinkles and counting. He's new. It's fine. It's okay. David says 351.8 thousand and counting. I really need to use them someday. You've literally got enough to buy the biggest thing that we have, which is a mod application. So if you spend 300 grand and applied to be a mod, we could say no, and then it's all gone. But yeah, there you go. That's your next month's sub sorted. So when your sub runs out, just 250,000 sprinkles, and we'll buy you a sub. Jobs are good and nice. Thank you very much. Morning to Mr. Garlic Clark and Gary Clark. The Garlic Clark is in the chat. Iceman, good morning, dude. I'll read. Tito's here as well. And I think we've caught everyone. Nice. Sweet. Okay, well, let's jump into some news. Before we do, first things first, I just need to ask, have you eaten anything recently, babe? Any food stuffs or anything? Have you had any sort of form of snacks or anything yourself?
Yeah, I have actually, Graham. Yeah, I've got some of these golden Dutch waffles. Really, really good. £1 from B&M. Probably better than any kind of donut that's out there at the moment. This isn't sponsored, by the way, but if they obviously do want to get in contact, then Royal, we'll sort you out. But a bit of airtime here to the old golden waffles. Go very nice with the brew. Better than a donut does.
No,
anyway.
I fully agree. I'm not sure there'd be any better than a donut hole, though. I mean, the middle of a donut. I don't know about that. I mean, that's kind of where you want to be in the morning. I went to Dunkin' Donuts yesterday. Baby mentioned that he's using his time off effectively next week, and the sun was out, so me and Danielle went for a stroll. So we decided to go strolling back to Dunkin' Donuts, which is why I continue to get bigger and 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 bigger in lockdown. But it's fine. I'm enjoying my life, so it's good. It's good. So yeah,
next week's going to be a madness. Cinnabon. Dunkin' Donuts, that pizza place that you told me about in Manchester that does the deep dish pizzas.
American pies.
Oof. Yes, that place are going there, and then also Costco. So next week is just going to be, I'm going to go up a cup size, absolutely.
Beautiful. Anyone near Manchester, there is a place that's open in Manchester called American Pies. If you've ever had a proper deep dish pizza, and when I say that, I don't mean like Chicago town, but I mean like a proper Chicago deep dish pizza that's about that big, incredible things. I had one in America. We went to a place called Giordano's, which is, I think it's better than like Pizza Hut in terms of Pizza Hut is very much a fast foody high street restaurant. It's better than that.
Massive fan of the Hut though.
Do you know what? I didn't used to be. It was the dough was that sweet weirdness, but we before lockdown went a couple of times, and I was like, actually, they've changed the recipe. It's decent. Is this? It's a bit nicer. Still no Domino's, but you know. Anyway, Giordano's is basically better than that. Anyway, Manchester now has its own place opening called opened. It opened last week or the week before, called American Pies, and it's big, fit, sexy, dirty pizzas. So nice, nice.
A collection only, obviously. So that's going to be interesting eating that in the car while driving down the M6.
I said to Danielle, we need to kind of try and do it on a day when it was like yesterday. So try order the pizza, then go pick it up and just pull up on a curb somewhere, just like cheese stretches.
Well, it opens at 4, doesn't it? It opens at 4, so like if we go to, I mean, this is absolutely nothing to do with video games. Maybe we have like a food podcast at some point, but because it opens at 4, I think we'd have to go into town at like 2 o'clock just to be able to go to Dunkin', have a walk around and stuff, actually spend the day outside, which might be a little bit nicer than just remaining inside in these 4 walls for like what feels, well, it is a year now. And just going into Manchester and having that, and then just taking that running home or eating it in the car, I don't know.
Tito says, deep dish, get out. I think maybe you're not quite understanding. Because deep dish pizza is just like, oh, I've got a deep pan pizza. It's just shitloads of bread, get in the bin. You go to Iceland and pick up a deep pan pizza. It's that big, and that much of it is flavour. The rest of it is just stodge. Nah, that can get in the bin. But this, just found a picture that I tweeted.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I've got you on the preview. I want to see it.
Where is it? There we go. So this is a picture of the slice. The bottom bit is base. Then it's meats and cheeses and oh, I've turned it off. No, there we go. It's back on again. Bottom bit is base. Then it's meats and cheeses, and it's good. Okay, so that's that. Let me go back and find the previous picture.
Filthy.
So this is what it's like when you're pulling it out. Look at that. That is incredible. Boom. Oh. Oh yeah, look at that.
I think it's actually making me a bit horny, if I'm being honest. Not the picture of you, but the actual the cheese pull.
It was exceptional, which is much better than the next picture that I'm going to show you. This is still not video games. It's pizza. It's Friday. It's all right. We can talk about food. It's much better than the next pizza that I'm going to show you, because I just searched for on Twitter @Graham_day, which is me, space pizza, which will obviously bring up any tweet that I've tweeted with the word pizza in it, and it just reminded me of when I was in Berlin for let's do a nice bit of a flex. Champions League final. Was in Berlin for the Champions League final. Nice. Okay.
Who's playing in the final, Graham?
Me. Juventus. and Barcelona. So there you go.
That's a nice final.
Yeah, I've got to go into stadium, got to be there pitch side and then left as it started. Yeah, that's where the flex ends. That's where the flex ends. And it gets even worse because if you're in Germany, do not ask for a pepperoni pizza because as my tweet says, pro tip, if you ask for a pepperoni pizza in Germany, the results differ from what you'd get in the UK. Pepperoni pizza in Germany I asked for it. I was like, can I get a pepperoni pizza? And the German dude was like, eh? I was like, yeah, pepperoni pizza. He was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, please. He's like, okay, nice. What I should have asked for was a salami pizza because pepperoni pizza is literally a pepper on a pizza. so not what you want to buy. Look at the fucking state of that.
I've never seen that.
It wasn't the experience that I was looking for. So there you go. Pepper on a pizza.
Oh, that was well built up, Graham. You were telling the story well there. That is awful.
I was gutted. You can see where I've even tried to make something out of it. You can see me biting the cheesy base. You can see the fact that I've nibbled the end off the pepper as well in the hope there's.
Oh my god!
Thankfully, Lenny, who's no longer with us with Konami, is German, so he was like, you could tell in the tone of his voice what he basically wanted to say was, "Graham, you muppet, you should have asked for salami." So he took my half pizza residue back and came back with a salami pizza, which was really nice. That one, not so much.
Oh yes.
Can I get a pepper on a pizza?
Tino says, I think we should rename this to The Slice. I agree.
Hey, there we go. We'll have that. That can be our alternative show. Anyway, do you know what? We've had a slice of pizza, and now let's have a slice of the games industry's content. Anyway, last night was yeah. Thank you very much. Last night was PlayStation's State of Play at 10 p.m. Not 10 a.m., but 10 p.m. No-ish on the money. They went live, and do you know what? I said to Bibby first thing this morning when we were talking about it, I was like, yeah. I didn't expect huge things. I don't know if Mr. T is in the chat, but he was basically saying a lot of people would expect the world from State of Play just because as soon as you mention PS5, that's it. They think the future is coming. So my expectations were tempered, and by the end of it, I thought, it's all right. But yeah, coming back to it this morning, I was thinking, actually, maybe I was a bit harsh. But anyway, let's see what you guys think. Let's jump into this article written by Tom Phillips at Eurogamer, and it says, everything announced in last night's PlayStation State of Play. FF7, Sifu, Fafaf, etc., which is Final Fantasy 7, Sifu, and Five Nights at Freddy's. Fafaf? Is that Final Fantasy something else? I don't know. Or should that be FNAF? I don't know. FFS is what I'm thinking right now. But anyway, tonight's Nintendo Direct style PlayStation State of Play broadcast was a mix of upcoming third-party games and indie titles headed to PS4 and 5. Excuse me. Many of the titles on offer were games we'd seen before, and big hitters such as Ratchet & Clank and Horizon were notable by their absence. The show started with Crash 4, which offers 4K 60 FPS, 3D audio, faster loading times, and reactive triggers on PS5. That was supposed to be Crash 4, by the way, not Crash, but there you go. It's Crash, not Crass. We've got another quick look at Returnal, for which we just published a beginning of. Okay, fine. So Returnal was next. Knockout City, which was the team-based dodgeball game from Vicarious Visions, which showed up in last week's Nintendo Direct, also made an appearance. Sifu, a fresh martial arts game from Absolver developer Slowclap. We also got a new look at the intriguing looking Solar Ash, an Annapurna Interactive published game from Hyperlight Drifter studio Heart Machine, coming in 2021. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is a thing due this year for PS4 and PS5. Next up, Oddworld Soulstorm, which was revealed to launch on the 6th of April and arrive on PS5 as part of PlayStation Plus. I missed that bit. Okay, that's cool. Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, which they pronounced as Kenna Bridge of Spirits in August last year, but in last night's broadcast they called it Kena Bridge of Spirits. So I mean, stay tuned to see what the name actually is when it launches. But Kena or Kenna Bridge of Spirits continues to look adorable and now launches on the 24th of August. Arcane developed Deathloop, showed up with its own catchy deja vu Bond theme. There's no release date for that yet. And then the show closed with a Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrator, which is due on the 11th of June 2021. It offers shinier graphics, faster loading times, and an extra chapter. You can upgrade from the PS4 version for free, then pay to get the new chapter featuring Yuffie. The whole broadcast can be watched in the final link bit in this article. We'll put the link into the chat for that. So, is there anything in particular that caught your attention, Bib?
Yes, there was 3 games actually. Keena or Kenna, where Keenan or Kel, whichever way you want to pronounce it. That looked amazing. Was this at the showcase last year? The actual game showcase. Was this when we first saw it? Me and you were streaming it.
Yes, it was. We did the watch along for that one. Yes.
Yeah, so this was the first one. That's the first time that I saw that, and it looked amazing. Then it looks even better now. I can't wait for that game. That for me is probably the standout one from the show itself. Obviously, Sifu looked amazing as well. I'm not always into these kinds of games, but as soon as I saw this game get announced, the first person that come to mind, and I'm pretty sure most of the chat and you would have thought of it as well, is Shogun Ash. This is absolutely up his street. So yeah, that looked really, really good. Solar Ash, not for me. I don't think that's going to be my kind of game. Returnal, showing little glimpses of a Bibby game, and then I don't know what it is about it. I don't know whether or not it's like, I think it's a little bit too fast. I think it's too fast paced for me to be able to, I don't want to say admire, but get into it. And I'm not sure. Maybe if they had a little bit of a demo and I could play around with it, maybe I will grow to like it.
Was that Returnal?
I'm not too sure. Yeah, Returnal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about that.
No, I agree. Let me just jump back through the chat first. I can see lots of comments regarding to my pepperoni pizza. Is that Graham's younger brother? That's Graham when he weighed about 12 stone less before lockdown. So yeah, there you go. Pepperoni, what in the world? Yeah, that's my pizza. It might have thought you said pepper only pizza. Glad I won't have that issue. I hate pizza.
Thank you
What?
for the ice cream.
You hate pizza? Damn. West, good morning. Thank you for the host, West. Thank you very much for being here. Bonsai's here as well. Hi, lads. Good morning-ish. This is what I expected, says Gary. It was always going to be filler for the most part. As like I said to Bibby last night, most of the big announcements will be the week of E3. Exactly. Personally,
this
to
didn't
me,
feel like filler. This didn't feel like a filler conference for me though.
Yeah, it felt a bit like it's kind of hard to put it into words, which is great when you're doing a talk show that's turned into a podcast discussing about video games with words. Nice, well done, great. Yeah, it's great. It's kind of hard to put into words. As I was watching it last night, for me, maybe it's just the content didn't hit me because there was a big finish with Final Fantasy, and I saw people getting super hyped about the Final Fantasy stuff last night. I'm just not a Final Fantasy person, so maybe that is why it didn't hit me. Particularly, I was more hyped by Knockout City was probably the one that I was hyped the most about. Sifu, and then I mean, Kenna looks good. I'm not sure if it'll be a game that I would personally enjoy playing through, but it looks like a movie. It's so well designed. It looks exceptional. And the other one was, I mean, if anything, Deathloop actually went down in my expectations. I thought Deathloop looked great, but as I said to Bib as well before we went live, that Bond vibe, I don't think it kind of. I've got my Bond itch scratched now by Bond itself with IO Interactive. Yeah. I'd rather see Deathloop being something else. So that didn't quite resonate with me as much as I expected. I thought Deathloop would have been something that did. So my top 3 then, with that in mind, I'll take Deathloop out of it because it's not added to what was there previously. Returnal, same as Bib. What? So for me, Knockout City, Sifu, and Oddworld, because I'm an old man and I loved Abe back on PS1. So hello, follow me. Okay,
I think it
No.
should have stayed it is me. Like, it just didn't when I was watching that trailer, I was like, it looks like visually it looks okay, but the whole concept of the game just looks more like if you're a massive fan of Oddworld, it's gonna be a great game for you. But for me, it just looks like what it they've just taken the game from the 90s, put a little bit of liquor paint on it, and then it's now in 2021. Like it doesn't. There's no way. For me, it doesn't feel like there's an evolution there. Not like you look at Crash, what it used to be like, and what Crash looks like now. They are completely different games. It just looks like Oddworld's just put a new fresh lick of paint on, and then you got Oddworld again. For me, that game should have stayed in the 90s. I don't think. I mean, the fact that they're giving it away for free straight off the bat, very much like Destruction All Stars. Yeah, I mean, the obviously exception with that rule would have been Rocket League because that's just gone on to bigger and better things. But Oddworld, I definitely think that it should have stayed in the 90s. But that's my opinion. I was never really a massive Oddworld fan, but looking at that, it looks like what's the returning player base coming back to with that? It looks exactly the same. Maybe that's what they wanted, exactly the same, just a little bit more.
It's
I don't know.
interesting that because I was never really a big Crash fan, and I kind of feel the opposite. I feel like you said Crash looks completely different. Maybe that's because
Mm.
you were a Crash fan. Crash looks the same to me, but upscaled. So I was like, oh well, the world has moved on. But yeah, Oddworld was something that I much preferred playing Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus. I didn't play Munch's Odyssey and Munch's Exodus, whatever, however many Munch games there were. And I did play a little bit of Oddworld New and Tasty when it came out. I think maybe it coming to PS Plus is probably a result of that. The fact that it came to PS Plus, Oddworld New and Tasty came to PS Plus. That was basically the remaster of the old game. Came to PS Plus, and the fact that they've done that already and then brought something new out that's coming straight out, I kind of wonder if they had huge success with PS Plus. Because it's PS Plus is either really big games that are old now, so they're used as sellers. So, like, say if an Uncharted comes to PS Plus, it's because it was a huge game, not many people are buying it, and it's a good way to get people to get PS Plus for PlayStation. Ta-da! Or you get shit games that no one's going to buy, or you get good games that are a bit different, a bit niche, a bit culty, or whatever that. Putting them on PS Plus can allow them to break out of that mold. So Fall Guys, perfect example. Rocket League, perfect example. So maybe that is where Oddworld is going. I do see what you're saying though, in terms of you look at that game and it looks good to me because I can see where it was and where it is. And it's what did they call it? 2.9D. So it's basically not 3D, but it's kind of 3D-ish. Which I can see what they're saying with that. That's kind of a cool take for me. But if you're looking at that as someone fresh and brand new, you might be like, "What?
Yeah,
isn't that something that they used to play back in the old days? Donkey Kong Country was a side scroller. Well, Donkey Kong now isn't a side scroller. So
yeah. I mean, it's well. Then again, we had a remake of Tropical Freeze for Donkey Kong coming over from the Nintendo. I want to say the Wii U. I think then it's been ported over to the Switch. So there has been cases where they have actually thrived. But yeah, this for me, it's like Ratchet and Clank. You look at that from the PS2 days, and then the PS3, and then they remade it again on PlayStation 4, the original one to coincide with the film. That looked great. Now what we're getting is probably one of my games of the year. Looking at it now, I can't wait to play that game, and I don't think I've never said that about a Ratchet and Clank game. I've never thought, do you know what, I'm getting that day one. It looks amazing. That Ratchet and Clank game looks one of the best games this year. I think he's using everything in the PS5 for the time being. Like they're trying to get as much out of it as they can now. Obviously, in 6 years' time, that's going to be a completely different argument. At the end of the life cycle, games always look great, but now they're using like the SSD. They're going through the rifts, so there's no loading screens. They're using the rifts as part of the gameplay. That looks phenomenal. That is definitely going to be one of my games of the year, hopefully, alongside Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I know you're going to say something then, but just to tack on the end of that, do you not think Kenna has that kind? I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but has that cinematic God of War feeling to it? Because when they were showing a bit of the gameplay and like the combat from the behind the character, it looked a bit God of War-ish in terms of how the character moves and how the storyline's going to progress and things like that.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, obviously, very, very different style, which is obviously what you've clarified. I've just put the link into the full state of play video if anyone does want to bookmark that and watch that. It's only half an hour ish. But yeah, that's the full broadcast from the PlayStation YouTube there, as linked in this article on Eurogamer. It's funny because it is that sort of over the shoulder combat-ish style, but it looks like if anyone's ever seen the film Frozen, if you haven't, then check yourselves because it's exceptional. Anyway, there's a bit where there are like trolls, which are little bouldery, stony creatures, and they sing the "He's a bit of a fixer-upper." Anyway, that bit, if you've seen Frozen, you'll know what I'm talking about. That bit is exactly what Ken and Bridges Spirits looks like, but with God of War mechanics.
Yeah.
It looks good though. It looks really, really good. I am not sure. I mean, I was playing the video for Kenna whilst we started speaking about it, or Kina, as they called it last night, as we started speaking about it. So this is the bit. He's a bit of a fixer-upper. That's it. That's the bit. There you go. Have you seen Frozen, babe?
I haven't actually. I haven't. Yeah.
What?
I apologize.
But yeah, look, this looks exceptionally good for a video game. I know it's the, but yeah, now we're into the combat sort of sequences. It just looks so good. It looks so good. It looks like an animated film. Which I know a lot of this is cutscenes and stuff, but there is combat bits within there. You are seeing gameplay-ish, this gameplay stuff, but it still looks really, really good. You can tell.
I think it says it at the bottom like a disclaimer, like it'll say like captured on the PS5 with cinematics and gameplay tied in. I think they did very well at showing that yesterday as well.
Yeah, it was like I can't remember the exact wording they said, but yeah, they stressed the fact that it was an amalgamation of gameplay and cutscene. And that's the thing, though. You can usually tell when you're playing a video game when it jumps between cutscene and gameplay. Like if you're playing, I mean, I used Uncharted before. If you're playing Uncharted, and you're watching a cutscene, and then it kind of comes down to over the shoulder, and then you can start playing it. There's usually like a clear jolt point where you can see where that happens, and everything suddenly changes. But on that, like even the gameplay stuff look really good. I know that's very selective because it's marketing. But I'm impressed with how good that looks. It's not really a game that would capture my imagination. For me, I'm Graham Day, strong army, boots on the ground guy. And then you've got Kina Bridges Spirits, which is basically the troll scene from Frozen in Breath of the Wild / God of War. Then yeah, what the fuck? I'll play it anyway. I will play this.
One that you actually want on your list.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I say I think because
that surprises me.
I will wait to see more. It does. It looked. That was one of the ones that I thought looked the best in last year's presentation, and it's purely based on visual. When I see more about it, I may lose interest. But off of just looking at it, it looked good. This though, yesterday came out of nowhere and caught me off guard. So Sifu by Slow Clap looks exceptional. Like Bibby said. He also said this straight afterwards. He said Solar Ash afterwards, but he also said Shogun Ash. So shout out to Shogun Ash Live. But Shogun Ash does like a good fighting game, does like a good anime game, and he's been playing Fights in Tight Spaces recently, or Fights in Small Spaces, whatever it's called, which looks exceptional. This is basically that, but full color. It's slightly
well, he was a massive fan of Absolver. He streamed that so many times. Like I think that was actually one of his games of the year in Absolver. So it's made by the same people. This is right up his street.
This bit, that's the bit that gets me. Like, I mean, the other stuff, the fighting stuff looks really good. It's just how good the animation is on the body, where he's just kind of like doing the sparring in front of the camera kind of thing. Like, now, just looks so good. I mean, the fightings and smashing and stuff you've seen on thick bits before, but then cuts back to it in front of the camera again in a second. Looks good. Just yeah. I'll take that. Wasn't expecting and wasn't looking for a game like that, but I'm quite glad I've seen that. Returnal was the one that kind of caught me off guard. Returnal is like is kind of a bigger one. So this is the game that's got a £70 price tag, aka top spec game. And they had Eurogamer within this, as you can see there, had an interview discussing how the game was influenced by PT. So I'm thinking, okay, big budget game. I like a AAA. I like a blockbuster. PT, okay. I mean, I'm on board for that. If you're not on board for PT, then you're either a wimp or you're just not into it. Whatever, fine. But still, this just it does. What is it? It just what is it? It's everything,
Yeah.
but nothing as well. So I don't know.
It did capture my imagination slightly because it said every single time that you die,
Things change.
everything, yeah, everything's changed. So like you can't play the game in the same way twice. That excites me a little bit, but I don't know. I think it's just a bit too fast. Did anyone? And I think I've mentioned this before. Did anyone ever play Apocalypse on the PlayStation 1 with Bruce Willis?
No.
Right. So that was an Activision game and a cool story. The first demo of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, actually made by the same team that made Apocalypse. So they used Bruce Willis as as Tony Hawk for the tech demo of it. So it was Tony Hawk's riding around skateboard. Anyway, they had Bruce Willis in the game, and it was Apocalypse, and looks very much the same pace as that. It's just not a bullet hell, obviously, but it's very, very fast, and it's a lot of shooty things. I think maybe if they slowed it down a tiny, tiny bit, it would be a lot more scary and a lot more horror vibe to it. I think because they've made it so fast, and that's obviously the niche of the game, it kind of takes away the horror element to it.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know what they're going for. Is it an action game? Is it well, it's obviously not an FPS, but yeah, what is this game? Because it feels like it's trying to be three different things.
Well, where it is right now, this bit that's on the screen right now, as I was watching it last night, I paused it there because that gave me Lumen in the Land of Nanite vibes. There's a scene in the Unreal Engine 5. So if you don't know what Lumen in the Land of Nanite is, Unreal Engine 5 is, I think it's either available for some devs now or it's available everywhere now. If not, it's available soon. It's the next iteration of Unreal Engine. And they gave a tech demo, as they do with every version of Unreal Engine. And the last one was called Lumen in the Land of Nanite. Lumen is their lighting engine. Nanite is their textures and graphics engine. Anyway, it was basically a tech demo showing those. And that scene in Returnal looks kind of like that. It looks really good. But that's not scary. It's so this is like almost Tomb Raider request it, and then you've just had, as Bibby was talking about, fast pace. You've just had these super, almost reso gun graphics with lasers and rockets and big tentacle monsters and balls of lightning and stuff. And then you get to this bit, which is a bit more crafty and explorery. And then you've got, okay, this is dark and slow. Is this more like getting to Resident Evil over the shoulder ish stuff? And then you've got, oh, scary house. Let's go inside the scary house, and then it finishes with this first person through the mask. That's PT's hallway, and it's like, what the?
Yeah.
So it could be good. It's another one. I'm judging it without playing it. I'm not even judging it. I'm forming my opinions as you do. That's the point. But my opinions at the moment might change if I get hands on. But right now, I don't know what to expect from that. I just don't understand what I'm looking at.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of this. I want to see more of it because it hits a lot of notes. It's just I need to know what it is. What is the whole premise of your game? Because at this moment in time, I couldn't tell you. So I don't know whether or not it's because we've only seen a few glimpses of it so far. I mean, obviously, I've seen Asim last night and Gary both talking about it. They was in. Looking at the chat now, they're both in, like chips on the table. They're down for this game, which is absolutely fine. Asim says it's Housemark, one of the best devs around, always creative and imaginative. I was in Returnal day one. That's absolutely fine. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. It's your opinion. It's your game. It's a kind of game that you want. But I don't know the premise of this game yet, and that kind of puts me off a little bit. But I'm excited to see more. As I said, you alluded to it. Is it being behind the shoulder, or sorry, over the shoulder Resident Evil 4? I was hoping that they'd kind of go the opposite way and it'd be over the shoulder and go Dead Space. I retweeted something this morning to say that Dead Space did something that Resident Evil couldn't do because they couldn't decide what they wanted. They revolutionized the way that we played the game, but it wasn't horror enough. What is this? Is this trying to be a horror game with action elements in the side? That you said at the end of it, and you couldn't have put it any better with it. When you get to the house at the end and you're looking down the corridor, that is PT. That is Resident Evil 7. Is that just a cutscene, or is that an element that you play through as well? I genuinely have no idea.
I mean, it could all work in the game, absolutely could do. But it's kind of like the trailer for me gave me vibes of someone trying to get a job interview, aka sales. That's when you're trying to get someone trying to get a job and they're in an interview. You are basically pitching yourself. You're selling yourself, and that's what a trailer needs to do. It needs to sell the game to you. But rather than going in and showing how super scary this is or how super good the combat bit is, it almost seems like it's gone. Okay, I can come in and I can do word content, but I can also do graphic design and I can do web development and I can sing. Also, I can host podcasts. As well as that, I make a mean cheese toaster. And it's like, yeah, but what
You're hired then. Get the fucking hell in the kitchen.
Get the fuck yeah. But what role are you hiring for? None of those bits looked bad. None of them. I just don't get where it is. So that's the bit that gets me. Is like I say, once again, when we get closer to it and we get a bit more of an idea of how the whole thing works, it might make more sense. But right now, I know Housemarque is good. I know Housemarque have had a great proven track record. Obviously, you're only as good as your next failure, essentially. So that could be bad. That said, it could be exceptional. And at the moment, I don't know what to expect. So, I mean, I don't rest on laurels of anything before. I mean, Cyberpunk's a perfect example of that. Before Cyberpunk, CD Projekt were exceptional and did the right thing, and all the games were wonderful and stuff. And they weren't because obviously Witcher 3 had issues. But off the back of that, Cyberpunk should be a no-brainer. I have it sat in the drawer. So this, over more time, will no doubt give me an idea of what it's meant to be. Right now, I'm confused as to where it sits because I don't.
Yeah.
That's what I missed from it. They've not stitched the parts together as to, so is it a full segment, like almost like a level, for want of will you get a first person level, will you get an over the shoulder battle level, will you get a quest level? Do those seamlessly link in, and how does that work? If you go from laser gun fight to questing into PT corridors, they are quite jarring. And without the break of a level, that can almost be, well, there goes my immersion. I've just gone from shitting myself running away from Silent Hill characters in a hallway to laser guns, and it's just like, oh, okay, change. So I want to see how it all sits and fits.
Gary says that it's a psychological horror, and I can absolutely see that. Because it looks like, well, the way that the voiceover was being told, or the story was being told to us, kind of like it. You're not sure whether or not it's all in the character's mind or what. I'm genuinely not sure at this point. But again, it's a game that I want to keep my eyes on for the future, because I reckon it could, for me, in my opinion, come out left field and hit me as I need to play this game. At this moment in time, I'm looking forward to seeing more from it, because at this moment in time, I'm not sure what it is, and if I don't know what it is, then chances are I'm probably not going to play it. But I do want to see more about it. If it's a psychological horror, I love that shit. No one's done it better. No one's done it better than Silent Hill and Konami in that kind of vein. But what am I going to get from this? This is a far cry away from those kind of games. So it's
Far
nice
Cry's
to see that kind of evolution.
That's not Konami. That's someone else.
Another fantastic series of games.
So just to kind of put that into context, and absolutely not because it's made by the PUBG guys, because it's not a PUBG game, even though it's in the same universe. Callisto Protocol looks more of a, I know what I'm getting from that, so I have less issue with that than that. Whereas nothing about that looks bad, but I just don't know what I'm going for. Whereas Callisto Protocol, I know it's jump scare, dead space, scare the shit out of you all the way through, kind of thing. So that kind of, that's the clarity of the message that I'm looking for. Speaking of clarity of messages, let's jump into something slightly different in this bit. This one, surprisingly, I know there's been content around it over the last few weeks and months. I have completely missed all of that until yesterday was the first time that I was not even aware that this existed. But Knockout City, which I've just found the trailer for it, look at that.
Oh my God.
It looks another Fortnite-esque game. There's weird. Is it going to actually show gameplay in this? It's basically Fortnite meets Splatoon dodgeball. That's what it is. That, if you tell me that, if you tell me what Returnal is, like just verbally, even though I don't understand it, that is more my kind of game. You tell me what Knockout City is verbally, that can get in the bin. However, after watching Knockout City last night, I absolutely want to play this game. Fucking Warzone / Destiny / fucking dodgeball. I want to roll Bibby up into a ball and lob him at my teammates.
But like in the trailer, it said like it's for everyone can pick it up and play it, but it's quite difficult to master it because obviously there's diving, there's dodging, there's dipping, there's diving.
Duck, dip, dodge, and dive. Oh, what's the other one? Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. There we go. The
Yeah.
5 Ds.
So there's a load of stuff like that in there, but I don't know why. I thought people are going to turn this podcast off and never listen again because we just we've criticised one of the most hyped games of the year in favour of a game that's probably 3 GB big, and it's a dodgeball game. It's a cartoony dodgeball game. So people are probably never going to listen to this podcast again and our critical analysis of video games. But what's fun's fun. And you can't you can put a price on it because it might end up being a 40 quid game, but it looks fun. Any kind of game that doesn't take itself too seriously. I'm all in. I really, really want to play this game. I think it will be a lot. It's definitely a Friday nights. Get 8 of us in a call on Discord and have a few drinks and just play this game because that is definitely right up my street. This is definitely my kind of game.
Well, is it a game that's going to last forever?
No.
Is it a game that's going to have anywhere near the lifespan of Fortnite? No. Is it a game that you could have a couple of months of extremely fun games with? Yes, I reckon so. I can't see it because it's not pure sport like Rocket League is. I know that's rocket-powered cars, which is not pure sport, but you get the sentiment behind it. It's just competitive gameplay. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it could have more legs than I think it will have. I can see this being in the vein of Destruction All-Stars, but better. Destruction All-Stars was it looked fun, but it also looked like a 5-minute-ish thing, which is what we called, and that's exactly what it was. I mean, I think it's still free now on PS Plus, but nobody's talking about it anymore. I could see that lasting a little bit longer, but I think that's the thing for me is we were talking then about one of the most hotly anticipated games versus Knockout City. I mean, which one are you going to choose? Well, it's quite clearly Knockout City, but I think that's because of nailing the messaging and simplifying the point. For me, obviously, I'm not speaking for everyone. For me, that simplified the point to the point where I know I'm going to have 2 weeks of fun with that. Whereas I'm not sure what I'm getting from Returnal. So spending 70 quid on something I'm not sure of, all I can say is the games that I've not been sure of over the last 2 years up until release haven't been games that have really been worth it. You
haven't regretted it.
Yeah. So Knockout City for me would edge that, which is bizarre.
I imagine this is probably going to be a much cheaper game as well. I can't see him. But then again, we've seen, what was it called, Street Power Football or something like that came out, and it was a mobile game that got ported over to the PlayStation. It was priced as like a AAA title. It was like 60 quid. Yeah, get in the bin. That's not going to last much longer. But on the concept of Destruction All-Stars, they had some news this morning or late last night that it was going to be a £70 game. It now, when it leaves PlayStation Plus, is going to be a £20 game, priced accordingly, priced appropriately, and still no one's probably going to play it because if they're not playing it now when it's free, what makes you think that they're going to buy it when it leaves the actual platform?
Yeah, exactly. Gary says we should all jump on for a laugh when it's out. Speaking of which, KnockoutCity.com, not sponsored, I'm just saying it because I did it, but there is a free closed beta. There has been one already for PC, I think. But there is a cross-play beta which will be on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Switch, which you can sign up for. So I did that.
It feels like a party game.
Yeah, exactly. But you can sign up for the access to the closed beta. I did that for PlayStation. So everyone sign up for PlayStation. We can have a play. Oh, it's cross-platform. The other thing is it's EA, and they have free-to-play cross-platform games. So Knockout City could be in the vein of what's it called, Apex, but it's also EA, so it could also be quite expensive. So we don't know what it'll cost, but we'll see going forward. Anyway, let's jump back into the chat so we can move away from the state of play content. Lots of words. There was a game from Finland, but it seemed not all that a game that I'd like, says Lake. Which game was that one? Where are we going? This is what I was expecting. It was all going to be fuller for the most part, oh no, I read that one from Gary. What's with all the sunshine today? Is it summertime already? I know, yesterday as well. This is amazing. And then we had
Rose's in for it.
West rocking in saying, "Sup, lurking while I sand some wood." Not in a sexy way. We know it's in a sexy way. It's fine. I've been so debated. My PS5 was expected to arrive 3rd of March, but tonight they changed it to 3rd of May. Damn. Dropping it back 2 months. How long have you been waiting for it then? Is it something you've got recently? Gary says, Kino looked amazing. My only worry is that the devs doing it have a background in movie animation and you can see it from its visuals. I'm just worried that they may have focused on it too much, as that's what they're good at, and not the gameplay side, as we haven't seen much from that side. That's a good shout. That is a good shout, because that's one of the positives I've taken, the fact how good it looks. But like I say, after that, when we get closer to launch, when you're getting past the movie element and you're seeing the video game element, is it just in the same way that Returnal could actually be exceptional when we learn more about it, Kino could actually be not exceptional when we learn more about it. But time will tell. Worst part is I pre-ordered it in June 14th last year. Damn. So you pre-ordered it, and then 11 months later you get the console. That's horrendous. Mad. Oddworld wasn't for me at all, says Gary. Can someone take his sword off him? Cheers, thanks. Thanks. He's not allowed sharp implements.
No, he's keeping it.
A store in Sweden is where it's crazy over here. Just rock up at Salford. I've got a room full of them. Fuck. No, I haven't. I've just got the 6 for me and Danielle each, and Chloe. Oh fuck, no! I'm not a scalper. I'm not. I would say you can. I would say can't you cancel the pre-order, but seeing as you've waited this long, there probably isn't any point doing so. Okay. Let's scrolling down. Returnal looked absolutely amazing for me personally. Housemarque, an incredible developer. Resogun on the PS4 is still one of the greatest games of the console, and it was launched. Resogun was class as well. Thing is though, Resogun, I knew what I was getting into. So I think that. Yeah, it's kind of like the same element of Knockout City. It's not for me, but you can clearly tell what it is, and it was good. And I played more time than I expected on Resogun. I had the new version of Crash and it looked great, but yeah, I'm with Baby. They should just leave them alone. I don't have Crash now, but I do have Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled game. As me and my kids like to play that, it's basically like Mario Kart, but with Crash and his mates. Tito says Frozen. Let it go, Graham. Banter. Another one I play with my kids is the remastered Spyro games, and they've been fun. My daughter likes to play them too. By the way, I told you a few days ago about the super deal on The Last of Us 2 here, so when it arrived today, guess what I'm going to do all night? We don't want to know what you're going to do all Friday night. He's gone. He's gone. Yeah, so Kulan in his own private special way. Playing The Last of Us 2. Obviously, I wasn't going to say anything else. Anyway, so, Graham, do you want to build a snowman? Yes. Sifu looked so good. That art style is... Gary says okay. That art style is okay. Nice, it does look good. Sifu, get in my belly, says Mr. T. It's Housemarque, one of the best devs around. Oh, we've touched on that one already. Did I see Final Fantasy VII are something I mentioned the other day? Hey, you did, and then you left. You like kicked up a fuss and then disappeared. Where did you go? I personally like the fact they've kept it mysterious so far. No, I'm not against mystery. I'm not at all. I like the idea of things being shrouded in mystery, but because they showed so much of it, I don't feel that's what they're going for. Because a lot of things with the mystery element, it's the I want to know more. It's the unknown. Whereas that is quite known, but it's not. I wouldn't say unknown. It's not understanding, and it's not the lack of the unknown. It's the lack of the understanding that's troubling me with it. I can't latch onto it yet. As for Knockout, Asim says the logo got me excited, thinking Jet Set Radio, and then I saw it. Disappointed face. Knockout City looked cool, to be fair, a bit of fun. David says, does it have the fat kid from Hook? What, Cannonball! So Nintendo have let everyone else have Knockout City on their platforms too, or well, Knockout City's EA. So I think they just was it like the beta was on Switch first or something, or is it already out on Switch? I'm not sure, but it's an EA title anyway. So maybe Nintendo just bought the exclusives for it or something. So yeah, I'm the opposite. This looks like shovelware to me, and Returnal, with what I've seen, even with this mystery, appeals to me day one. I mean, that makes sense. It probably is shovelware. Like I say, for me, it's I know what I'm getting. It's I understand But yeah, everyone has different tastes. $29.99 on Switch, I believe. Switch revealed this at the last Direct. Yeah, it was. It mentioned that in the article that it was previously revealed at the last Direct. 3 PS5 games already waiting on my library now. I need my PS5. Returnal is from Finland. Ah, there you go. Is Housemarque Finnish? Did not know. Is no Finnish. It's 28.
Classic banter.
EA make a good game? Never. That's true, to be fair. Resogun shoot it the end. I mean, it was good. It was good. Resogun. Do you know what I really liked about Resogun? And it's such a novelty bit, but it was the forward thinkingness of it. Is being sat there in a dark room with my new PS4, like late December or early January or whatever it was, loading up Resogun and just hearing it like saying like level 1 or whatever it says, but talking through the controller. I know that's been this thing for 10 years now, whatever, 7 years now. But hearing it for the first time, that was the first game that spoke to me through my controller, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And it was just the forward thinkingness of it. So, I mean, that's nothing compared to what Housemarque have delivered in the world of gaming. But there you go. How dare you have different tastes to me? How dare you? Exactly. Can someone just drop a quick ban on Asim as well, because his tastes are different. He wants a different game than the one that I want. How dare he?
Wanker.
Fuck's sake. No, I mean, I don't mind you having your own opinions as long as you slowly change them to be the same as mine. That's fine. And I say slowly, I mean now. As long as that, you can have all of your own opinions. It's okay. Anyway, opinions aside, let's move a mile away from talking about PlayStation. Start talking about PlayStation. As the next article actually continues with that vibe, although a very different angle. Andy Robinson and Alex Calvin. There we go. I was looking for the journalists' names, but it's been dropped further down in this article. It's a weird placement.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Anyway, Alex Calvin, Andy Robinson from VGC say, sources, PlayStation is winding down Sony Japan studio. Majority of development staff have been let go, but Asobi team remains, sources tell VGC. Interesting. So Sony is winding down original game development at its oldest first-party developer, Japan Studio, multiple sources have told VGC. The iconic developer behind Ape Escape, Gravity Rush, and Knack has seen the vast majority of its development staff let go, the sources said, after their annual contracts were not renewed ahead of the company's next business year, which begins April 1st. Localization and business staff will remain in place, and Asobi team, the group responsible for the Astrobot games, will continue as a standalone studio within Sony Japan, it's claimed. Some Japan's studio staff will join Asobi, we were told, while others have followed Silent Hill and Gravity Rush director Keiichiro Toyama, who left Japan Studio last year, to his new studio, Bokeh. It's not entirely clear if the restructure has affected the studio's external development department, which collaborated on games such as last year's Demon's Souls, but one person VG spoke to suggested it would continue. Update. Sony Interactive Entertainment has sent VGC a statement confirming that what remains of Japan Studio will be absorbed into Team Asobi as per our report. It also stated that external development and other divisions will be relocated within PlayStation Business on April 1st. A spokesperson said, quote, in an effort to further strengthen business operations, SIE can confirm PlayStation Studios Japan Studio will be reorganized into a new organization on April 1st. Japan Studio will be recentered to Team Asobi, the creative team behind Astro's Playroom, allowing the team to focus on a single vision and build on the popularity of Astro's Playroom. In addition, the roles of external production, software localization, and IP management of Japan Studio titles will be concentrated within the global function of PlayStation Studios. Back to the original story. Multiple Japan Studio developers have announced their departure from the company on social media in the last few days, including Bloodborne producer Masaki Yamagiwa and video manager Ryo Sogabi, who are both leaving at the end of February, while a cryptic tweet from executive producer Masami Yamamoto also hints at his departure. This also follows several high-profile staff at the studio leaving at the end of 2020. Silent Hill and Gravity Rush series director Keiichiro. Do you know what? We'll stop there. A bunch of people have left, and Sony is winding down the Sony Japan studio. The full article is up on VGC if you want to continue reading through that.
We just become best friends.
Just go down to there's two paragraphs underneath. Just one more. Just read the one that says "people with knowledge of the matter."
At the bottom.
No, so the way where you finished that, when you finished reading there, Not on it says
Ah,
people
yeah.
with knowledge.
Okay, there we go. People with knowledge of the matter told VGC that Sony Japan Studio simply hasn't been profitable enough in recent years. The developer wanted to create games that appealed to the Japanese market first, with hopes of having global appeal, while PlayStation wants the kind of global hits that its other first-party studios produce. Do you want me to keep reading, or is that enough for you?
Yeah, just a one more underneath.
Okay, one person VGC spoke to said that Japan Studios' fate had been sealed over a year ago following the departure of its longtime president, Alan Becker, who was replaced by Astrobot Rescue Mission Director Nicholas Duquette, allegedly due to frustration over the developer's lack of hits.
There you go.
So there you go. Is that the reasoning for it? What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah, I mean, this does. We've seen over the last 2 years a lot of restructures in video game companies anyway, so it doesn't surprise me that this is the case for this as well. Especially with literally the last line that you read there, with say allegedly due to the frustration over the developer's lack of hits. If you're making games solely for one side of the world, sometimes you think that it's going to sit well there, whilst also expecting the kind of money that you get globally. If that isn't the case, then you kind of you kind of end up having to restructure because it's not necessarily the outcome that you wanted, even though on paper what you've kind of asked for isn't the larger picture. Do you know? Does that sound right? You want the larger picture, but you're focusing on the very small aspects of that.
Yeah,
Like
you're
you can't expect to take
acting
the world's
locally
money.
and hoping it impacts globally.
Exactly. So yeah, you can't expect global money when you're just focusing on one area. So yeah, it's kind of inevitable when it comes to stuff like that. But yeah, it's Sony Japan aren't the first company that started to restructure. We've seen it a lot over the last 2 years, and it seems to be churning good results. Hopefully, now that they've started to restructure, they've got the focus elsewhere. It will kind of give a new lease of life to the people who are working there, maybe new projects. So hopefully, this will be a good thing.
It's interesting. I mean, what do you guys in the chat think around this? First of all, shout out to NPC HCA. Are you an actual NPC? I'm assuming not because you're in the chat. But UK Streamers Unite, welcome in, dude. Thank you very much for the follow. Jordan says should have made a new Ape Escape, missed opportunity. I mean, that's the thing for me is I get a little bit of feeling towards brands and studios, but not too much because I know that the same thing. I tend to be a bit more mercenary in that sort of sense. Like I say, you're only good as your last title or your next failure or whatever in that sort of sense. And there's some big names made by Japan Studio, like the iconic developer behind Ape Escape, Gravity Rush, and Knack. I mean, Ape Escape was okay. It was the first game that used dual shock sticks. That tells you that it's an old series. Has it hit that height again? Not for me. Has it even had any more releases? I don't know. Would I play it? Probably not. Gravity Rush, not for me. Knack, not for me. So I'm kind of thinking, okay, well, it's a shame to see something that's been around and helped form things for so long. But the industry moves on. I fucking loved Ocean Games, Ocean Software. They've been gone for like fucking 20 years or whatever. So some things do move on. And whilst it is a shame, I'm thinking that. But then at the same time, it then goes on to say Astro's Playroom. Would Astro be successful without a new console? Is the first question I ask. Maybe. Is the game good enough to be successful without the hype of it giving you the full PS5 experience? It is. Would I have played it without it giving me the new PS5 experience? Probably not. So for me, it's another messaging issue. Like they're either making the wrong games for the wrong audiences, or they're making the wrong games for the wrong reasons. As Bibby said, they're trying to make things that are for niche audiences, be that a younger audience, be that a local audience, and expecting it to just shit out money across the world. You can't act locally and expect it to impact globally all the time. Sometimes it does. Most of the time, it doesn't.
Well, you seen it with Persona. That was a game that's ended up coming over to the west and ended up taking us by absolute storm. Coming over to the east, taking us by storm. So,
yeah.
How did I get it right first?
I'm
not sure. I can't remember. I'm trying to. My geography is so bad. But it was a Japanese game, and it's come over. It's come over to our side. It's come over to Europe, and now it's like one of the leading Japanese RPG games. Like sometimes it's a banger. Sometimes it's not. You can't guarantee it every single time, unfortunately. Yeah, I was right with Rest. Yeah, I thought it was. I was like, that doesn't sound right. I've said that phrase a million times, but for some reason my brain was going the opposite way.
I just said yeah because I didn't hear. So I don't actually know what you said. I figured out what you said from looking at Chapper's comments in the chat though. Welcome in though, Chappers. I hope the meetings have been good. Let me
Do you want to
jump.
reply to NPC?
It's just rolled off the screen. I've just seen it. There you go. Do you focus solely on gaming media? Excuse me. Mainly, but not necessarily. We do focus on the scoop. We focus on gaming media. But we focus on gaming content. We don't necessarily focus on gaming media. So if Metro, for example, which is I don't know if you're in the UK. If you are Metro, if you aren't, Metro is a publication that's built for travelers. Basically, it's the magazine that you tend to get on trains and on buses and things. That's not gaming media as such, although they do include gaming articles, so we would feature them. So in that sense, we don't only focus on gaming media, but the majority, if not 99% of our content has some form of gaming focus. We do charity bits and we do news content and we do playthroughs, but there's usually some form of link to gaming. That's because whilst we are ice cream, the business that we work in is Jelly, and that's a games industry marketing agency. So that's kind of, it's all one finger in the pies of gaming some way usually. Not always, but usually. What about you? Is that what you're looking for? Are you looking for just gaming content, or are you looking for something different? Let me know. Gary says Sony changing the confirmation button from Circle to X in Japan was the start of what was about to happen. Yeah, I see. They've said something recently about they've reaffirmed their commitment to the local market, which could 100% be PR shit. Because if I say to you, "Do you hate Japan?" You're gonna go, "No, I love Japan," even if you like aren't asked about Japan whatsoever. Really fond of the Japan. I love the Japanese things about Japan, and my favorite things are the things that they do. And it's like, oh great, okay, well that's just you're just saying PR words, noises. You're saying the right thing, but do you mean it or not? We don't know. So they have come out and said some stuff. This I wouldn't necessarily put in the same thing as that necessarily. I mean, it could be the fact that the Japan studio, the one that's crafted with creating local content, the one that they've wanted to bring more Japan flair onto the global market, is the one that's been kiboshed. Could be a business decision, but it's also very, very close. Oh, I smashed in the mic. It's also very, very close, as you say, to the steps that they've taken previously. That changing the circle to an X is a small thing for us. It's a huge thing for people that have played with that for 30 years almost. So to completely rip up the script and then get rid of something as symbolic as Japan Studio, whether it isn't that, if it's purely a business decision, even if it is, that's symbolic in itself. We're absolutely not forgetting Japan and our Asian communities and stuff at all. Meanwhile, as I whop off the head of Japan Studio, it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that really backs up what you're saying. So yeah, I mean, it could be, it absolutely could be. Gravity Rush. No, where do we get to? As much as a new Ape Escape would be cool, it wouldn't sell like Sony would want it to. Not a chance. It wouldn't sell with me, just like Knack didn't, and Knack 2. And don't get me wrong, I've been told by many people, Knack is a really good game. It just looks something about that there on the screen. This thing, is that Knack? Or is Knack something else? Whatever that is, I'm not interested in. That looks like a shit Poundland toy. I'm not interested. If it can break into little pieces and stuff, I know it could be really, really good. But that, for me, personally, does not speak to me. So I wouldn't play a new Ape Escape. I wouldn't play Knack. Gravity Rush, I've never played. That said, absolutely would play. If they released an Astro sequel to Astro's Playroom, yeah, I'd be all over that. If it was a full proper, what's the genre I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
Action platformer.
Yeah, there we go, platformer. Or action platformer. Yeah, if they released a platformer with Astro and everything that they've done in Astro's Playroom, I'd be all over that. I would be.
I just seen Jordan's comment there saying Persona is part of Shin Megami Tensei. Always been absolutely massive. But Sega owns Persona, just so you know. I knew that, but I didn't see. I've just had to read it up because I didn't see a Persona over in Europe until maybe 10, 12 years ago. And I've just looked it up and it said that it didn't come over to Europe until 2010. So it came out in 1996 in Japan and North America, but we didn't get it until 14 years later. That's kind of what I was trying to say. Everything that got made, it was localized over there, but now it's been globalized. Like you can get it everywhere. There's a lot of games over in Japan that end up getting made like that, especially when they came out on the PlayStation Vita and the PSP. Like those two machines kind of brought JRPGs, and the PlayStation 1 obviously played a massive part in that. But in my opinion, and from what I've seen growing up, those two consoles kind of made those games.
Yeah,
I say relevant.
Persona
is
huge, as you say, for the people that know it. And Jordan is very much a JRPG and a Japanese-centric gamer. So when we're talking about Ape Escape and Gravity Rush and Persona, Jordan will know that more than me. But for me, Persona, yeah, I've heard the phrase Persona over the last decade or so kind of passed me by. The most I've heard about Persona is hearing Persona 5 Royal get discussed on the Kind of Funny Games Daily podcasts because they all absolutely adore that game.
PS Vita, wasn't it?
I don't know.
The first time I heard of it was when it came over on it. People was playing it on the PS Vita. I didn't even know that it was a PlayStation game, but that's just my knowledge of Japanese games and JRPGs.
Yep.
Persona 4 was on the Vita. Yeah, that's the first time I'd heard about it. I didn't even know it was out on PSP. I've literally had to find that out myself by looking it up. The Japanese JRPGs I like to a degree, but I don't know everything about them. So I apologize if I get any of it wrong. That's what you guys are here to tell us about.
He knows. He just doesn't care. That's all it is.
I'm not going to insult the Japanese JRPG fans.
But he's going to change his X button to a circle and his circle to an X because fuck you guys. Speaking of which, Asim says, I think this falls in line with PlayStation's restructure recently, very much American/West focused. They used to have a structure of Europe, America, and Japan. Each office worked together but independently too. They changed that recently, so it's all just one focus, and it's led from America. Yeah, we're clearly meandering, as Gagad says, because I've just had lunch delivered. Nice.
We're not even going to have time for the next two articles, are we?
Probably not. We're already an hour into the show, so let me have a quick look through.
It's been a stunning show, though. I mean, when you have a state of play or a Nintendo Direct or an Xbox conference, the majority of the show is going to be talking about those. So I think that's kind of what people expected. It's titled accordingly for you guys that are watching this. I was listening to some podcast services
around the world. I mean, to be fair, because of that, we haven't meandered very far. To be fair today, so I'll give us that one. Do you know what? I will run through the next two articles, but we are going to fly through. So we'll pick up the pace now. We'll stop with the discussion bits majorly for now, and then we'll just jump through. First things first. We'll step away from PlayStation and step firmly into the realm of Xbox. Can someone say Craig? Halo Infinite looks great in new 4K screenshots. This is written by Jordan Gerblick at Games Radar, and it says 343's latest Halo Infinite update includes some lovely images of the game. 343 Industries has unveiled a batch of Halo Infinite 4K screenshots, and the plucky sequel is looking better than ever. The high-res screen grabs were revealed as part of 343's latest Halo Infinite update, which gives some valuable insights into development, particularly with regards to art design and world building. Halo Infinite campaign art lead Justin Dingers explained that the development team aimed to balance two key themes identified as legacy and simplicity when building out Zeta Halo. For Legacy, we really want players to feel like they're experiencing a game that they remember fondly, Halo Combat Evolved, but with modernized graphics, of course. As far as simplicity is concerned, we wanted to ensure that we steer away from overly noisy designs and details, which is a key takeaway for the team coming off Halo 5, Dingers said. That's what Pokemon needs to learn about. Overly complex designs. God, new Pokemons are like stupid compared to original ones. Anyway, scroll through. He says about not meandering and then goes waffling about Pokemon. So scroll through the gallery below for all the new picks, including the one that shows the various stages of Halo Infinite's day/night cycle. Also, be sure to click the expand button on the lower right of each picture to see them in their full screen glory. Okay, there is no expand button, but nice. So there's all of the images. You can see, if you want to see Halo looking snazzy in 4K glory, we will put the link in the chat for you guys. So that's one story. And then we have another story. This one, a complete change, though. It's Fortnite. Basically, Ripley and the Xenomorph from the Alien films are coming to Fortnite. Ta-da! Do we really need to say anything else? I think that kind of covers it. Maybe? Nice. Okay. we'll put the pin in the story.
That is literally the concept of it. Yeah.
So yeah, new skins coming to Fortnite. We could run through that, but you get the idea. We've already had Terminator and Predator, so now we've got Alien as well. So Aliens versus Predators versus Terminators. It's like being back in the 80s and 90s with films, but oh my. So yeah, there you go. There was one other article shared, but we did cover it yesterday. I had it on the list to go over because it was shared by two people, actually. West and Mr. James Butterworth both shared the 500 gig PS4 may no longer be able to fit Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Warzone. Yeah, so basically, if you've got a PS4 with 500 gig hard drive, you're probably not going to be able to play all of Call of Duty on it, even if you delete everything else. But we did discuss that yesterday, so we're not going to run through that today. We would have done if we'd had time, but obviously State of Play was a lot of content. But the gist of it is, if you've got an old PS4, you either need a new hard drive, or you need to get a PS5 because they're super easy to grab hold of. Yeah, nice. Just grab one. And that is the news. And that is the news. Thank you, everyone, for all of the stories and the chat. Much appreciated. Let's jump back.
We can't show everybody's stories, and I apologize because a lot of you have started submitting them, but if we did, we would be here for like 4 hours, and that just isn't feasible by anyone. No one wants to listen to us for 4. I don't even want to listen to myself for 4 hours. So I apologize if they don't always get shown, but that's just the way it is.
Things will never be the same. Okay, I mean, maybe that's the kind of the point we want to get to. We want to get to the point where it's kind of like getting like gold sticker in class. Okay, and shout out to Mr. T, who got his story on the scoop today, and then Asim walks to the front of the chat like with that smug face, like, yeah, you know.
And Mike drops the felt tip pen.
So yeah, if you do have any stories, West has just put the Discord link in the chat. Feel free to share your stories there, but I won't go about that too much because Bibi does talk about that in just a few seconds minutes time. Let me jump through the chat first, though. Obviously, Fortnite and Black Ops, we kind of get the idea of. Let's see if there's any comments on Xbox. Persona 4 was on Vita. The Wii Bar, I mean, we're all coming if you diss JRPGs. I mean, I'm not going to diss JRPGs because they don't need it because they're all shit, mate. I'm like, sorry, I'm joking.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god.
He's going to be writing an apology letter on Twitter later on.
I'm joking, mate. Calm down. Chappers says, I can't find it. He keeps scrolling away. Nope, I give up. It's all gone. Oh, there we go. I've barely dipped my toe into JRPGs, but I'll nab a cheeky Manga L5. Looks so much like a next-gen Halo CE. It looks amazing. Asim says it's looking infinitely better.
You stole my joke. I made that joke yesterday. You're stealing my jokes. Do you know what I mean? My jokes are that good that even Asim's trying to come in and take them.
I mean, because we're having that, I'm going to scroll through all these emotes and shit before I finally find the... If anyone's got the Halo It's Happening emote, do you find it? There we go. Bop, bop, bop. It's happening. There you go. You can have one. You can have 3 of those. That's how generous I'm feeling. There we go. Enix has dropped it in. They're waiting to reveal Craig in a proper showcase to show how much he has improved. It's their secret weapon. I have seen quite a few people saying, if we're not seeing Craig in 4K, I'm not interested. So there is that.
I love it.
Number 1 Victory Royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. What tune is that? I can. You've written those words to a tune, but I can't get the tune in my head, so I don't know. Not talking about the Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale. Nobody's really interested in that, though, are they? No, nah. Just no time. I mean, the State of Play covers more of the stuff that we would cover. Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale was mobile only, right? From what I saw.
Yes.
So yeah, we had some mobile content yesterday. That's enough for the month. Next month, maybe. I don't know. If you play mobile games, enjoy. There's nothing wrong with mobile games.
Can't watch. Is there?
Yeah.
But baby girl.
Ad says only 2 skins. Not 4 skins. Nope, not 4 skins.
Rattled me that.
Chappers, I don't know what's happening. 10 kills on the board right now. Just wiped out Tomato Town. My friend just got downed. I revived him, but we're headed southbound. Now we're in the Pleasant Park streets. Look at the map. Got to go to the marked sheet. Dear Lord, I hear him coming, that rumbling sound. What the fuck is happening? There's clearly got to be a song or something, but I'm... Do you know what, Chappers? You can record a video of you just singing it into your cam and just drop it in the Discord and we'll share it. It's fine. There you go. Anyway, As Gary says, dropsmic.gif. That is the end of the scoop. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another hour and a bit show. Now, it's not as long as yesterday's. Somehow we've managed to keep it fairly short, despite having all of the state of play content, which is quite an achievement for us. We managed to curb our waffling, and we're going to do it back a little bit more by wrapping things up before we disappear. Question: Will there be gameplay, babe, today?
Yes, there will. I need to do something straight after this, though, because I've just missed a call off Lee. So I'm going to phone him back after this. So I will be on about half an hour afterwards, hopefully. Are you sticking around? Are you going out?
I may be sticking around.
Hey, what do you want to play?
I don't know. Well, if you want to find out what we're going to play,
we'll discuss it offline, yeah.
Come back in 30 minutes and you'll see. Well, 30 minutes-ish, and we will play some games. Until then, though, we are going to go off, get things set, and we'll be back at that point in time. Before, though, Bib, is there anything that you would like to add?
There is, Graham. There absolutely is. If you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, just like what Enix, what Asim, what Gary, and Steel Bonsai, and West has been doing, drop them into our Discord. There is an area for you in there called The Scoop. But if you want to find us on social media, that's also acceptable too. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Do feel free to go and do that, because all we need from you is your URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give... Oh, Graham will be giving you his thoughts and impressions on Monday. At what time, Mr. Graham Day?
About 2:15. 10 a.m. Yeah, we're dolloping. We're dolloping next week. Although if anyone is around next week, feel free to. I mean, I'm probably gonna look at dolloping anyway, but we may open it up to guest spots. So if anyone would fancy a guest spot, just feel free to throw it out there. I may or may not take you up on it. No promises, but feel free to throw that up, because the dollop is a tried and tested method. We know what we're doing, whereas guesting is just a bit more faff, you know. And we've got stuff to do. But anyway, feel free to throw that in the scoop if you are free all next week, just to let us know, just so that I've got as an option should we need. But anyway, until then, John says I'll do a guest spot. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Any advances on Jordan?
Yeah, maybe. That sounds good. This is good. Nice. Chappers as well. Oh, hey. Oh, we're all fighting over it now.
That week.
Nice. Okay. Well, we may have some guests next week, but for this week, we will put a pin in things. We'll be back shortly with some gameplay. But for anyone watching or listening on demand, this has been The Scoop, and we will see you next time. So have yourselves a lovely day and
stay frosty.